Okay, YouTube, today we're going to rebuild the door hinges on the 56 Chevy Apache pickup truck. But the door aligns really well. I hate to mess with it, but I'm going to mark the hinges with some of this blue tape. And what I'm going to do, first step is put a little blue tape along these edges here and along the edge here so that when I put it back together, I can get it very close to the original placement. To complicate this project a little bit, some of these bolts that are holding the hinge to the door are stripped. I'm tightening this bolt, and there's this one and two on the bottom hinge, the two outside ones. So we're going to put a helicoil type thread insert in there that'll hopefully fix those three stripped bolts. And let's see, that's about it. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I've got tape marking where the hinge currently is, so I can hopefully put it back exactly where it is now when I put it back together. So the first step to taking this hinge off is to remove these three upper hinge bolts in the door, the three in the lower door. Then this door will slide out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we've got the door off. Let's take a quick look at it. First thing I'm going to do is repair these threads that are stripped out, one at the top and two on the bottom. I'm going to use this product called a Keysert. It has these pins. Once it's screwed in, these pins get pounded in and they wedge in between the surfaces to hold them in place. There's a special tool for that. First thing the tool does is it screws the Keysert in, and then you're able to pound on it here, and it actually pushes those pins in. So to do that, we need to drill this out to the tap size, which is 27/64 drill. And then I use a number 1213 tap. Tap those guys out, screw the Keyserts in, and then pound them in place. And hopefully that'll hold. Got the first one tapped out, and Jesus, I think General Motors was still using post-World War II tank steel to build these things. It took me a good 10 or 15 minutes to coax that tap through that hole. Every eighth of a turn I was re-lubricating the tap, backing it off, putting it back in again. But I got some really nice threads in there now. And I'm very confident those Keyserts are gonna hold. So I've got two more to go. Okay, I couldn't get the Keysert to screw into the hole, so I read a little bit more about it, and the recommended drill for a tap 1/2 13 is different than the Keysert recommendation. The Keysert recommendation is 29/64, which is a slightly larger. So I'm going to re-drill this hole here. Okay, I've got this hole ready to go. I cleaned it with alcohol, blew it out with compressed air. Ready to screw this in with this tool. And then once it's screwed in and a little bit below the surface, then you rotate it 90 degrees and then you hit it with a hammer and you beat these pins in, and that's what holds it in place. I'm also going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on those threads as well. Okay, I'd call that textbook insertion. I think that's a really strong fix. Very satisfied with that. One down. I've got to do this one. I think I might even do this middle one because those threads look a little bare, even though that one was holding. And I'm going to do the one on the upper right, on the upper hinge. Okay, it's 2 hours later. I now have these holes drilled and tapped. It took 2 hours to drill the holes. One drill size at a time, and I had to resharpen the drill bits about a half a dozen times. This shit is hard. I think they made World War II tanks out of it, I swear to God. Either that or this has been a part before and somebody welded something in the back. I don't know, but I think it's factory. Got one more challenge here at the top. I was able to drill and tap this hole. I was just barely able to get in and drill and tap this one. However, let's see if I can get my, yeah, that's my, this one. That's my finger right there. And the tool won't fit through this hole, the Keysert tool. So I'm going to have to try to manually screw that one in and get those pins seated in there. Either that or I cut this hole out a little bigger. I really don't want to do that. I don't even know if I have the tools to do that. I'll keep you posted. Okay, I've got the Keysert in place. I used a screwdriver and I held it in place. Then I went through the slot. You can see the pin sticking out there. And I took some needle nose pliers and I was able to get the thread started. And then I was able to tighten it up. Now I'm going to carefully take a punch. And a little at a time, I'm going to try to punch these pins in because the tool just doesn't fit in there. Okay, I can't get a punch in there with the screw in at the same time. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a big washer and a nut. And I'm going to come in here with an open end wrench and see if I can squish that in with a washer and nut. Okay, I've got my screw, nut, and washer in there. Had to cut the nut with a hacksaw to make it thin enough. So hopefully that'll tighten up and those pins will just go straight in. Success. Got the Keysert in that upper door. I finished it off with a punch, but the screw, nut, and washer did the trick. I had to, carefully tighten the nut and keep an eye on the pins as they were going in. But there it is. You can't really see it from this angle. Bottom hinge out. It did not have a bolt in the back. However, the threads look good, so it might just be a matter of installing a new one. So I have a new pin set for this, and it's a matter of driving this pin out, boy, which looks bent, but maybe that doesn't matter if I'm putting a new pin in. And putting the new pin and bushing in. Same thing with this one. I have a new pin and a new spring for this one, the top one. Okay, I'll go do that. I've got the new hinge pins in, the door's mounted. The door is very solid now. These hinges are very tight. I'm gonna move this door up and down, and it doesn't move at all. It's very, very tight. So mission accomplished. The door does align better than it did before, but it's not perfect. This hinge needs to go in a smidgen more that way, but it ran out of adjustment, so that'll be a job for another day. Thanks for watching.